most people are quite aware that the North Coast and primarily the Ballito area is one of the fastest growing nodes for semigration in South Africa. And as a result, I mean, there's been a huge demand for a luxury estate in development and living really at the end of the day. And, so the brief and the vision for this estate was to create that luxury accommodation with luxury lifestyles, with all of the different amenities that go with that then blend into the natural landscapes and the North Coast itself. And in all effects, that's what we're doing. There's specifically three aspects, what we call the trifecta, that we have on offer that nobody else has to offer. I don't even think just in KZN, but in South Africa, is where you've got beach, you've got lake, and you've got golf course. With that comes other amenities or attractions such as forests and walks. But its location is critical as well. So we positioned in the right place. We're literally 12 and a half minutes from an international airport. We've got international schools on our doorsteps. We've got shopping centers. We've got private hospitals. We're literally 15 minutes away from anything and everything that you could possibly need. To create an estate of this stature, nature, and opulence and standard, I mean, you need a collaboration of all various different types of professionals. And, obviously from an architectural point of view is what the finished product's going to look like. So working with the architects in making sure that, number one, the designs that you have in Architectural Design Code are going to stand the test of time is critical. And I think we've very much done that through contemporary type of designs and architectural guidelines. Which is great. Then that needs to fit into an environment that you're in. And that environment is the area of the North Coast. But not only that, it's also very depicted in various stages or elements of our estate. Some have lake views, some have forest views, some have ocean views, some have beautiful inland views looking at the sunsets. Taking all of that into account and making this thing work in its various areas is absolutely critically important. I think that's what Zimbali Lakes has done so well in creating and future-proofing this estate for many, many years to come, and future investments for people as well. It's been perfectly designed.
Zimbali Views, it's gone to another level by allowing more in terms of exclusivity, by allowing more flexibility in terms of the design. So it's more about, we're not applying the same guidelines as the rest of the estate. And we've set up an ethos for that. We've taken each and every site on Zimbali Views and almost set up a little sandbox so your architect can play within that, and it protects everyone else around it, which is quite different to just setting up a generic, okay, you've got X height restriction, X side spaces and a rear space. We've designed a specific envelope in which each client or homeowner's architect can play within, lets them express themselves in an appropriate way. So we look very carefully at the appropriateness of the design, not necessarily all the rules and regulations that are in place in the guideline and the rest of the estate. It's about the appropriateness of the design, and we allow the guys the freedom, because people are looking at exclusive houses like this don't necessarily want their house to look the same as the neighbors. So our view is, as long as it's appropriate, there's flexibility. And it's within the sand, what we're referring to as a sandbox that protects all your neighbors.
At Zimbali Lakes, we've got such dramatic landscape and differentiation in views. So from an architectural point of view, how have we taken that into account throughout the estate as a whole? And then with Zimbali Views being launched quite soon, there's been a huge amount of work that's been done on that. How have we differentiated that to really encompass the magnitude of how important that site is and how beautiful and unique it actually is?
We took a different approach. Rather than saying this is the guidelines, this is how your home's going to look or needs to look or has to look, we actually selected a group of architects who we thought would come up with different but appropriate responses. We got 5 architects to design villas on Zimbali Views. And what's interesting is it worked out perfectly, because they were all appropriate responses, but very different. So it allows a type of clientele who's looking for something specific to have that option, which in sort of more generic parts of estates, it's difficult to do that. We took the spectacular hill one with the best views and views in numerous directions, and then we actually designed the site, the overall site of Zimbali Views, to give each site the experience of those views. Each and every site, we've looked at the levels of the site behind it, the site in front of it, the site next to it, and we've actually designed all those levels to a very fine detail.
What does that actually mean? It actually means that when somebody purchases a piece of land and they design a house on it with one of the 5 architects, the chosen architects, you know that you've protected in perpetuity. You're not going to be having somebody building a roof in front of your house. You're going to be able to keep that view forever, and that's actually what you're paying for. You know, you're buying incredibly dramatic and beautiful views of lakes, forests, distant views in inland as well as the ocean as well, and golf course. So you know that, and that's protected for you forever.